For me, when I would ejaculate, I would feel
Shame.
shame.
Yeah. And so the
What is up, you guys? Welcome to the Road to Recovery YouTube channel, a video series to encourage men battling porn addiction. And in today's episode, I want to discuss with you guys Theo Von's interview with Dr. Drew about porn addiction. So we'll take a look at a small clip and then I'll share some of my thoughts with you guys. So without further ado, let's get into it.
but is it pertaining to porn addiction?
Masturbation, and I think he mentions his porn's what made him fell
Let's
off.
do it.
Okay, let's do it.
What's up, Theo? Hope you're doing well. I'm Kai from Gold Coast, Australia.
Yeah, he is.
I wanted to talk to you about your struggle to not touch your little wang. Just because I've been having the same struggle. And last night, I woke up from one of those sweet, sweet dreams, and I touched my wang. And normally that's not too bad of a thing, but this is my 27th day in a row of not doing it.
I'm not doing it, so
So
you
if I'm
broke
gonna
his...
make it to 100, because previously I tried NoFap November, which is where you don't fap for all of November, which is something I think you should encourage amongst your viewers,
Fap?
and we should probably promote that.
We'll look it up.
But yeah, it's tough, man. It's hard. So just letting you know that I'm struggling with the fight as well, and keep going with it.
Gang, man,
Much
that's
love.
cool.
Well-
but yeah, but he did seem genuine in that. I think he
Yeah.
tried to not masturbate.
And so he must have identified that as a problem, which is why he was trying to do something about it. And the average person should be looking for balance, right? Not absolute abstinence. But if you have a problem where you're hurting yourself or you're affecting your livelihood or your relationships, well, yeah, you got to go through a withdrawal.
yeah.
You ever heard of circle plans?
Oh yeah. Like
Yeah.
the inner, middle, and
Yeah,
outer.
yeah.
Because I've gone to SAA, which is Sex Addicts Anonymous, before, and I think a lot of our original listeners knew this, but and yeah, they would have three circles, and I need to actually get back into it. I'm going to a therapist today, actually.
Good for you, man.
I just struggle. Yeah, I mean the masturbation thing. For me, when I would ejaculate, I would feel
Shame. Yeah. And so men that have sexual addictions usually had emotional abuse in childhood, though you can have sexual abuse too, but emotional abuse is very common antecedent to sexual abuse in men or sexual compulsions of various type.
But yeah, I would feel shame. I would just feel ashamed,
Yeah. And so, the shame may be purely psychological. It doesn't mean because you have a sexual compulsion necessarily. It depends on, what was giving you the shame. If there was something legitimately like you didn't want to do, you kept doing.
Right.
And if it was not just affecting your safety and your health and that kind of stuff, that's something to look into. And again, sex addiction, has to be a period of abstinence. You go through some withdrawal. You put certain things in the inner circle that you cannot do. You put slippery stuff in the next circle, and you put healthy stuff in the outer circle.
Yeah.
And you work with a sponsor on moving things in and out of that.
Yeah.
Got to scrub your electronic media. And stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I really do. I just got to focus more. I've been doing better than I was like a couple years ago for sure. Good. And I find if I am doing something that I value, that I don't even think about acting out.
So you fill yourself, right? Is it an emptiness you're trying to? Is it like other addictions? You can feel an emptiness.
I just get antsy. Like I'll just get home and I'll just feel like maybe there was one time I noticed like a girl that I thought was cute. I didn't end up going to talk to her. I have no clue if she was 70 or 22.
Or
It was kind of
married,
far away.
7
Yes.
kids.
I had no idea, but I put her on this weird little pedestal suddenly in my head.
Yeah.
I didn't talk to her at all. I left and went home, and then I just felt just worthless.
So the little pedestal is sort of a love addiction thing, right? Like you elevate somebody, make them perfect.
Yeah.
You got to have them. And...
She could be horrible. She could have been a man. It wasn't even that clear how far away she was,
Perfect.
But I had
That's
put her in this
perfect.
special place, and I went home and I just felt defeated. And I was, next thing you know, I'm looking at like escorts on the internet. I'm not getting them, but I'm like bartering with them.
Oh, yeah.
The dude who's like bartering with an escort, but not even going to buy it, like $40 less, and
Well, but the problem with that is all of a sudden you're there.
Right.
It's
yeah,
like,
you're so close.
Yeah, it's like flirting with if you're an alcoholic and you go and drink near beer. Like,
Yeah.
now you're flirting.
Right. It's like having arms made of gas and playing with matches.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, so the first thing I want to discuss with you guys is the viewer who called in. And in his video, he shared how he broke his nofap streak after giving in to urges that he had in a dream. I believe this is something that is very common. We will experience urges during our recovery, especially in the form of dreams, but we have to stay committed. I even have to remind myself that commitment means I'm going to stay committed even when I don't feel like it. And this is something that you guys will have to remind yourselves as well. There have been many times where I relapsed because I experienced urges from a dream and I didn't know how to respond to it because I didn't have a plan in place. So you guys can prepare yourselves for this by putting a plan in place. And Dr. Drew shared with us a very practical plan that is commonly used in SAA, and that is with the circle diagram. So in this diagram, you draw a circle. So that inner circle is what you will not do. So in that circle, you would put watching porn. Now, in the circle outside of that, you would put things that can lead to you watching porn. So an example of this would be masturbating. If you are fantasizing about watching porn while you are masturbating, then this is definitely a slippery slope that will lead back to you watching porn. And finally, on the circle outside of that, you would put healthy things that keep you away from watching porn. So an example of this would be working out. This is definitely a healthy activity. And even Theo noted that when he does things that he values, then he doesn't feel like acting out. So you have to find what is it that you value. It doesn't have to be working out. It could be anything that is a healthy activity that will keep you from watching porn. Figure out what that is for you for yourself. Another interesting point that Theo brought up was feeling shame immediately after ejaculating. And I believe that this is also something that is very common. This is something that I've experienced quite a lot. And for myself, I believe that it's important to create a reminder in the back of my mind of the shame that I will feel when I relapse to porn. Because when we seek out porn, we don't think about that. Oftentimes, we get caught up in the dopamine rush and we want to experience the pleasure of acting out. But that pleasure is only for a moment. It's so easy to get caught up in that dopamine rush where we forget about all the pain we will experience. One of the things that I've done to help counter this feeling of shame is to remind myself of the shame that I will feel after a relapse. So I'll write down a checklist when I am in a rational state of mind that I can refer back to when I am feeling an urge. So I'll ask myself to identify what emotions am I feeling from this urge, and if this is an emotion that has caused me to relapse before. So if you take the time when you are in a rational state of mind to write down your own checklist of questions you can ask yourself, you also can prevent yourself from having the feeling of shame. In my opinion, it's really refreshing to see some of these conversations about porn addiction in a thoughtful yet casual way. It is something that I believe needs to be discussed more frequently. And I really appreciated some of the insight from both Theo and Dr. Drew. And I just wanted to share with you guys some of the thoughts that I had about this. So hopefully you guys found it helpful. And if porn addiction is something that you struggle with, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel so I can help you out on your road to recovery. All right, guys, until next time.